Shyam, Radhe 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 Shyam, That was not planned. But this happened.
Let's squeeze the lemon some more.
Chandraya Radhikaya Dare Krishnaya Krishna Vartaya Tattva Namo Ananda Vilamaya Vigrahaya Demavadivyaschavi Sunraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasatpadaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhakta Vihina Aparada Lashnare Chilkasta Pahari Kalam Pamade Kripamayitam Sharanam So Priyacharna Kim Kurim Kuru Tavevasmi Najiva Vidya Vina Iti Vidyaya Devi Tam Nayamam Charandikam. First of all, I offer my sustained Dandavat Pushpanjali in my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadhya Paramaradatam Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pradishta Om Vishnupada Shtotara Satasri, Rupanugacharya Varya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev and to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat Maharaj, Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Ashram Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So now, for 4 days, we have been discussing the glories first of Radha Nam, the holy name of Radhika. Then we discussed Radha Dham, the glories of Vrindavan Dham. Then on Lalita Saptami, the day of Radhika's Saki, Lalita, we discussed the glories of Radhika's Sakis, her parikars. Nam, Dham, Parikar. This morning we discussed the Radha Tattva in relation to Radhika's brain. And this evening, to complete our festival, we only want to discuss Lila. Lila, the pastimes, the expression of the love in the heart of Radha Krishna is manifest in their divine transcendental play. Sriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpatarabo Drumavu Vistru Chintamai Mai Ganamayim Tayam Amritam Kathaganam Natyam Gamanam Yavangsi Priyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Param Apitaraswadhyam Apicha. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, oh, beyond this Day3 Dham, this material world, beyond Mahesh Dham, the abode of Lord Shiva, beyond Vaikuntha Dham of Lord Narayan, there is Golok Vrindavan. And that place, Sriya Kanta Kanta Paramaputasha. In each Vaikuntha planet, there is one Lakshmi. But in Vraja, every single gopi, millions and millions of gopis, they're all superior to Lakshmi. In the Vaikuntha planets, there may be a desire tree, but in Vrindavan, every blade of grass, every small shrub and creeper is even more powerful desire, wish-fulfilling plant. Every cow there is Kamadhenu. The water there is Amrita. Every step is a dance and every word is a song. That place is not illuminated by light. It is only illuminated by praying. And everything in that divine realm of Goloka Vrindavan is aswadya, relishable, spiritually relishable, full of nectar. See, Krishna manifests himself and his dham, his parikas, all on this earth in Brajamandal. Don't think that Krishna comes from Golok here. No, he's always here in Braja. Only sometimes his uppercut is not manifest there, and once in a day of Brahma, then he becomes visible to the eyes of everyone. But Krishna is always in Vrindavan, even today. Those who do bhajan in Vrindavan can realize it. So Rupa Goswami Pad said, Tishtan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayeta Kilam Ityupadesha Saram. The essence of all advice is to engage oneself in hearing, chanting, and remembering the divine name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna, gradually being completely absorbed, reside in Braj, and be under the guidance of the Anuragi Jan. Braj Rasik Vaishnavas were deeply attached to the service of Srimati Radhika. Then one can realize that Sri Krishna is always, always present in Vrindavan Dham. That is his Nitya Bhumi. When Sri Krishna manifests his pastimes here, he has Balya Lila, childhood pastimes, in which the Vatsalyaras, the love of his mother, is prominent. Then he has the Bhauganda Lila, in which the love of his friends is prominent. But then comes his Kishore Lila, in which the love of the gopis is prominent. And out of all the Vraja gopis, Srimati Radhika, she is Vrindavaneshwari. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Gokula Tarni Mandala Mayate. All the Tarnis, the young girls of Vraja, she is supreme. Damadara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Damodar Rati Vardhana Veshe means so Damodar Rati Vardhana Veshe means that the Sringar, all the ornaments, the clothing of Radhika from head to toe is so beautiful, very fine. And the beauty of her body is peeping through her cloth little. Very attractive. Though Madhya Yashoda, in Krishna's Balya Lila, she had to collect all the ropes in Vraja for many hours and tie them all together. Drishtva Parshmavam Krishna Kripaya Sitsabandane. And after many hours of trying to bind Krishna, and she was sweating, and Krishna saw her hard endeavor, then Krishna felt sorry for her. So his Aishwarya Shakti disappeared, and Madhya Yashoda bound Krishna. But Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe, as soon as Krishna sees the beauty of Radhika peeping out through her beautiful clothing and ornaments, he's bound in 1 second. So Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipineshi. Nishkut means, if there's a king, he has a palace. And the palace has so many buildings around us, but in the middle of the palace there's a secret garden. And no man can go there, only his queens can go there. And he enjoys in that pleasure garden, secret pleasure garden in his palace. That is called Nishkut. So, in Brajamanda, Hari Nishkuta Brinda. The forest of Vrindavan is like Krishna's Nishkut, where he goes to meet Vipina Eshe with the Isha, the queen there, the queen of that secret garden of Vrindavan is only Radhika. So Rupa Goswami is saying, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya. When Krishna comes to his Kishore age, at that time, he cannot tolerate separation any longer from Radhika and the gopis. He wants to meet with them, but there was no opportunity. But finally, on the full moon night of the Shardiya season, Bhagavan Apita Ratri Shard Utfulla Mallika Viksharantam Manas Chakri Yogamayam Upasritaha. Though he is Bhagavan, Api, though he is Bhagavan, who is supposed to be Atmaram, self-satisfied, but Krishna has a desire. When he saw the beautiful flowers blossoming in the moonlight, Utfulla Mallika, the jasmine flowers illuminated by the moon, then Krishna's heart, Viksharantam Manaschati, he wanted to enjoy Raman, loving pastimes. So, Yogamayam Upasritaha, he took shelter of Yogamaya. It means that when he played his flute, by Yogamaya, no one could hear the flute, except for Braj Gopis. So Yogamaya arranged it. And the Braj Gopis ran away from their homes. But no one could stop them. Why? Because Yogamaya arranged a copy, a clone of the Gopis to stay in their homes. So their family members thought that they were still there. So Yogamaya Upashrita. But another deeper meaning is Yogamaya Upashrita. When Sri Krishna took his flute to his lips at Bangsibat and closed his eyes, he deeply meditated on Srimati Radharani. You know, there's a story about Dronacharya was training the Pandavas how to shoot. So he was with his shooting archery students, and he said, "Oh, aim your arrow at the bird in the tree." So then one student took his bow He said, what do you see? I see the tree, I see the Buddha. Sit down. Another one. Aim, tell me what do you see? I see the hill, I see the tree. Sit down. Then he asked Arjuna, Aim, what do you see? I only see the eye of the bird. Focused, one-pointed. In the same way, when Sri Krishna went to Bansi Bhat and took his flute and closed his eyes, his hairs were standing on end, he was trembling, and tears were flowing from his eyes, and he only saw the face of Srimati Radhika. And that bhav in his heart came out in the form of his flute song and ignited the anurag in Braj Gopis' hearts. They became mad and all came running there. So Yoga Maya Upashrita means, yoga means samyoga rasa, the rasa of union. That is yoga. And Maya means paryapta, the fullest extent. So Yoga Maya Upashrita means Krishna in his heart took full shelter of Yoga Maya, that is the name of Radha. He took full shelter of that heroine who alone can fulfill his desire for Sringa Rasa to the fullest extent. So, as you know, Braj Gopis came and a very beautiful Rasa Lila took place. Evam parisvanga utungayantan, evam parisvanga karabimrista, snigdeksha duddhama vilasahasai, rame ramesho brajasundari vir, yathabakaswa pratibimba vibramaha. Shukadeva Goswami Pad said, in that rasa dance, then Sri Krishna was embracing the Braja Gopis. Evam parisvanda, very tightly embracing them. Karabimrista. That means putting his arm over the shoulder of Radharani like this. And as the music was playing, he was doing the tal of the madanga on the heart of Radhika like this. Eram parisvan karabimrista. Snigdek, and Radhika looked at him, and Snigdek, Krishna glanced very affectionately. Rame Ramesho Brajasundari Bi. Rame, enjoying loving pastimes, who? Ramesh. Krishna is Ramesh. Isha means Lord, and Rama means, remember, if the name Rama appears in relation to Vrindavan, Rukmini Dwarvatuntu Radhe Vrindavane Bane. The rule is that it means Radhika. So Krishna is Ramesh, the Lord of Radhika. No, Ramesh means whose Lord is Radhika. Actually, like Gopinath. Gopinath does not mean Lord of the Gopis. It means whose Lord is a Gopi. Radhika controls him. Just by a movement of an eyebrow, by her glance, she can make Krishna sit down, stand up, sit down. So Rame Ramesho Brajasundari Vir Yathavaka Swap Pratibimba Birbrama. They began to play like a child plays with his own reflection in a mirror. Yathavaka Swapratibimba, his own reflection. Swapratibimba Bibrama. Krishna is bewildered, playing, dancing with gopis like a child playing with his own reflection in a mirror. It has many meanings. Every word of Shukadeva Goswami is just dripping with the delicious amrita, transcendental rasamrita. Yatabaka Swapratibimra means that if a man goes to a woman and then he touches her, she'll call the police. Right? Because it should not be done. But if you touch your own mirror, your own reflection in the mirror, this is you. So there's no problem. There cannot be any lust there. So in the meeting of Krishna and the gopis, they're his own Ladini Shakti. They are non-different from him. So don't think that there's any calm, any lust, or even any touch of the duality of material existence in this Lila. It is the Advaya Gyan Paratattva. It can only be realized in samadhi, in trance, by those who have transcended the dualities of this world. So, like a child playing with his reflection in the mirror. It means also that as Krishna was dancing, Radhika was dancing. Then Radhika was dancing, as she was dancing, Krishna was dancing. In this way, they're having a competition. So pratibimba vibrama. It also means that if you have one mirror here, your reflection is there. If you put another mirror there, your reflection is there. If you have so many mirrors, you will have so many reflections. So for as many gopis there were in the Ras Lila, there were that many forms of Krishna dancing and playing with each gopi. Yatava kaswa pratibimba vibrama. Another meaning. This morning we discussed Paraspara Vasibhav Atishai. Very often Radhika and gopis, they'll be quite contrary to Krishna. They do the opposite of what he wants due to their contrariness, the crooked nature of their love. But when they come in Anurag, then Krishna is controlled by Vraj gopis and gopis are controlled by Krishna. Paraspara Vasibhav Atishai. At that time, whatever Radhika feels, Krishna should do, Krishna is automatically doing that. Whatever gives Radhika happiness, Krishna is doing that, and whatever Krishna does gives Radhika happiness. They are completely Paraspara Vasibhav Atishai, controlling each other. Joy joy pyaro kare, sohi mohi pave, bhave mohi joy, soy soy kare pyari. O Saki, whatever Krishna does, it is pleasing to me. And whatever is pleasing to me, Krishna does. This is Vraja Bhasha. So, Yatava Kaswa Pratibimba Vibrama. Very beautiful. Another meaning. What meaning are we on now? 7? Yatava Kaswa Pratibimba Vibrama means that without a mirror, you cannot know whether you're beautiful or not. Right? If you have a mirror, then you can look and see whether you're beautiful or not. So in the same way, the gopis are like a mirror for Krishna. Because Krishna, he has decorated himself so nicely with the Banamala, with Vaijayantimala, with the Tulsimala, Kundamala. We discussed the different malas he's wearing in the Rasalila. With his peacock feather and so many ornaments and paintings on his face and body in sandalwood paste and kasturi. He looks so beautiful. But is he really beautiful? Only when he comes in front of a gopi and a gopi reacts. And by the udipana, the stimulation of Krishna's beauty, she's trembling, her hairs are standing on end. Then Krishna can know by the gopi's response to his beauty, oh, it's true, I am beautiful. So yatava kaswa pratibimba vibrama. Yeah, you can think you are very beautiful, but when others see you, their response, then you find out. Right? So in this way, gopis are like the mirror of Krishna. So the Rasalila went on, and how they feel such closeness. Na so Ramana na hama Ramani, dui manu manu bhava peshla jani. Radhika said, I am not the beloved and he is not my lover, but Cupid has taken our hearts and melted them and mixed them together. So after such a union, when the Raslila is over and in the morning, Krishna has to return to Nandagaon and Radhika has to return to Yavat. Then, though the separation before the Raslila was very difficult to bear, but the separation after that very intimate union of hearts is completely intolerable. Completely intolerable. Oh, alas, alas. Vraja gopis, in their separation now, they're having spurtis of Krishna. They sometimes see Krishna in their heart. Sometimes they see Krishna before them. But then they go to embrace him and he disappears. And then their separation becomes double. And then they become confused. Oh, I'm becoming mad. I see Krishna is with me. But then I find out that actually it was a spurti, it was a vision. He was not really there. And then they become so confused that they think that not only is the spurti, the vision of Krishna they have, that they didn't meet with Krishna, it was just a spurti, but they begin to doubt themselves. did I ever even go and meet with Krishna in the Ras Lila? Oh, that was also just a sporty. They become so confused. Alas, I never met with him, ever. This is the separation. Becomes so high now. Then what comes? Yugal Geet. You know Yugal Geet? Falgit Brurada Apit Venum Gomalengulibir Asutmagam Gopyari Rayati Yatra Mukunda Vyomayanavan 24 verses. So this is Yugal Geet. Gopi's separation is so intense. They feel the fear that actually I've never met him, I've never served him, I've never loved him. Alas, but I can hear he's playing the flute. And when he plays the flute, he puts his left cheek on his left shoulder like this. And then he takes his flute and places it on his bottom lip. And then he takes his very soft fingers, which are so soft because he never did a day's work in his life. Because he's spoiled, you know, he's the son of a king. Right? So Nanda Maharaj has so many servants that do all the chores and everything. Krishna he doesn't have to do anything. That's why he's called Nischintya. He has not a worry in the world. So then takes his soft fingers, Komala Angulbir, soft fingers, and he places them on the holes of the flute. And then he begins to play. And the gopis are just, she's so bad. She's so bad. Who? That flute. Their praying is so intense in separation, they become jealous. Radharani, in her Madan Bhav, she becomes jealous of Krishna's flute. This flute is so bad. What is she doing? She thinks she's a princess. When she starts singing, she calls all the demigods, oh come on, come on, and all the demigods are gathering in the sky. She tells Jamuna River, hey, where are you going? Come back. And Jamuna River is going like this. And turning. Premki Nabisada Ulta Bahida. The river's flowing in the opposite direction. Huh? Who does she think she is telling everyone what to do? She's even controlling Krishna, telling him what to do. She's just there relaxing on her chaise lounge of his bottom lip. And then she tells Krishna, give me a massage. And then Krishna's massaging her. She's just so bad. She has no love, she's just ordering him around. She puts so much stress on him. Arisaki Hari Veinu Barabayu Yukta Girvaradatopi Prakshaniya Sakibi Hari Saralanga Sri Giri Dharanepi Yadikila Kalavenu Sandito Vakramapa. This flute, Kalavenu, very wicked girl. She's very wicked because she put so much stress on Krishna. When Krishna lifted Giriraj Govardhan, very heavy, huge mountain he was lifting with his little finger, he stood up straight. But when he holds his flute, he becomes Tribhanga, crooked in 3 places. So this flute must be heavier than Govardhan. She's putting so much stress on the poor boy. This flute is very bad. So in this way, Vraja gopis are going mad in separation. But if there's a village festival, then there's a chance somehow or other to meet Krishna. Like Nanda and Yashoda will come and they'll talk to Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida. So Nanda and Yashoda will come and Krishna will follow his mother and father, and Radharani, on the pretext of following her mother and father, will come also like this. Radhika is a little upset with Krishna. So then Krishna comes and he stands in such a way that the shadow of his head and his peacock feather is falling on Radharani's feet. Radha is looking down out of shyness, and she looks and she sees his peacock feather coming like that onto her feet. And then she smiles. And Krishna thinks, she accepts me. Yes, no, it's no problem. Vrindavan is so sweet, you cannot hold it in. So if there's a special festival, then they get a chance to meet. So after the Rasa Lila, the winter time came, and then after the winter time, after the cold season, then the moon becomes very bright, and the Falgun season comes. In Falgun, there's a Krishna Paksh and Shukla Paksh, the dark fortnight and light fortnight. In the dark fortnight, there's a very nice festival, Shivaratri. What happened in that festival, I'll tell on another day. But in the Shukla Paksh, very amazing. Oh. In the Shukla Paksh, another festival comes that is Holi festival on the Purnima, Falgun Purnima. So at that time, the evening time came, and seeing the beauty of the moon and the beauty of the kumud flowers, and knowing that Holi is the time for throwing colors, and everyone in the village can participate. So then the Braj Gopis, being filled with pride and intoxication of their beauty, they decorated themselves so wonderfully. And they came out from their houses, not one or two, but thousands and millions of gopis from all over Braj, streamed out of their houses with great eagerness, meditating on Krishna. And dressed, they're ready, because Holi is a war, It's a war. So they're ready for war. They put on their breastplates of their kanchulis. They've put on their, they've taken up their pitchcaries. Pitchcary? It's a syringe for spraying the fragrant colored water. They have pitchcaries. They have their hand grenades of the flower pollen wrapped in soft lac. So when it's thrown, then it explodes and all the pollen goes everywhere. So they have all their weapons, they're all well equipped, and they come marching out. Gopis, thousands and millions of gopis from all over Braj, and they all assemble together at the gate of the village and go outside. And just outside the gate of the village, there's the place of the Holika bonfire. Huh? Okay, you are, yes, you know. So, if you live in India, the day before the Holi festival, you have to make a bonfire for the burning of Holi. Very beautiful. If you come into our ashram in Vrindavan, we do a very big bonfire there to celebrate this. And you have to take some grains, some wheat still on the stem, and dip it in the fire, and then put it out, and then go around and give it to all your friends and embrace them. This is the various rituals of the Holika festival on the evening before Holi. So that's a very holy place. So all the gopis came out from the gate, and they gave pranam to the place of the Holika bonfire from the previous night. And then there's a huge courtyard area, very long and beautiful, outside the gate there, and gopis came there on one side. And they began to play drums and blow bugles and so many instruments. It made a tremendous noise, just like in the Battle of Kurukshetra, right? First one side starts to beat all their drums and play their instruments. Why? To strike fear into the heart of the opposing side. So Krishna, Madhumangal, Subal, Sridham, Dham, Vasudham, Arjun, Labanga, Stoka, Krishna, Madhumangal, Vasan, Kopil, Bringa, and other coward boys. When they heard the sound of the musical instruments of so many gopis ready for war, then they began to tremble. But someone who has courage, they talk to themselves, and the boys were saying to themselves, we can defeat them. They were reassuring, we can defeat them, but it was more to reassure themselves, because the tremendous sound was quite intimidating. No. We are Veer, we are heroes, we can defeat them. So then Krishna with his coward boys, they came, out of the village, through the gate. They gave pranam also at the place of the Holika bonfire. And then they assembled on the other side of that broad courtyard outside the village. And they assembled in a circular formation. You know, like Chakravyuha. They assembled there in a circular formation. So, then the coward boys, they started to play their musical instruments also, to show, well, we also have force. Because that's what happens in the battle. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, first one side plays, and then the Pandava side plays, and it shatters the hearts of the Kauravas. So the coward boys, they begin to play. But gopis are not afraid, and their phalanx spreads out on all sides. There's just so many of them, the coward boys are outnumbered. And the coward boys are looking. This is a very dangerous situation. So just then, the coward boys thought, we'll be successful. Why? Because our emperor, Sham Sundar Nandanandan, is with us. So we must be successful. And they took a throne. And they sat Krishna on a throne. And one coward boy took a jeweled umbrella and held it over the head of Krishna. Another coward boy took a white chamar and began to fan him. The gopis were looking. You see, the umbrella and the fan, they are the insignia of the emperor. So in the world there can be many kings, but there can only be one emperor. So then the gopis, they took a beautiful asana and Radhika sat down and they took a chatra, an umbrella over the head of Radhika, and a gopi took a chamar and was fanning Radhika. Chamara dulabo kabe eribo mukha chanda. So many times our Goswamis pray, oh, when will I fan Radhika with a chamar? What does it mean? It's my Radhika is the empress of all Vrindavan. That fanning of the chamara is done with so much abhiman, pride. Radhika dasi jadi, hoy abhiman. Sigra melai tavago kulakan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if someone just has this deep pride, I am Dasi of Radhika, then Krishna they'll easily attain him. It's like it comes free, included, free gift, along with the service of Radhika. You know, sometimes you buy cereal, and there's some like gift inside. If someone becomes Radha Dasi, then Krishna is included in that. No need to try for anything else. So with great abhiman, one Manjari is fanning Radhika. Oh, she is really the empress. Do you know what fanning with the chamara means? Your prana is moving around your body. In Vedanta Sutra describes in 72,000 channels called nadis. Right? So this chamara represents, there are so many hairs, the 72,000 nadis of the Manjaris. And they're worshipping Radhika with all their pranas. So now, there's a dispute will come about, because you can't have two the emperors. Only one person can have the jeweled umbrella and the white yak-tail whisk, the chamar. So then, at that moment, one old lady, well, middle-aged lady, Arda Britta, she was, Nanda Maharaj has a priest, and that priest has a mother-in-law. And that mother-in-law of Nanda Maharaj's priest has a younger brother. And his wife, it was her. Okay, so now you know who she is. So she's a middle-aged woman, And she's part of the yuta, because gopis are in yutas, right? So in a yuta there are sakis, they're all gopis about the same age, all the sakis. But then there's dutis, also messengers, and dasis. And they also include like older ladies as well, part of the yuta, and they sometimes help in the pastimes. So this middle-aged lady, from the midst of Radhika's group, she just burst out like a tempest and went through the no man's land in between the two forces and approached Krishna's side. Why? Because when there's a political disagreement, some contention, then you have to have ambassadors, you have to have envoys, and they go backwards and forwards, and they engage in the various methods of diplomacy. So in Vedic culture, the methods of diplomacy are Sam, Dam, Vaid, and Danda. So Sam means the first step is to open the diplomatic channels, and by persuasion, by reasoning, then just discuss and try to solve the disputes and make an alliance. You can make a union between the countries. That's Sam. If that doesn't work, then you have to go to the next thing, Dam. Dam means like bribery. Look, let's not fight. I'll give you so much gold and jewels or whatever it is, or oil these days, right? You can have the oil, let's not go to war. So then Dam, you give something and try to pacify the other person. So if that doesn't work, then you have to go on to the next level of diplomacy. That is called Vaid. Vaid means try to create doubt and, divide and conquer. Try to create doubt and dissension in the other team. Make the opposing party be suspicious of each other. Make them turn against each other. And in this battle of wits, in this subversion, then no possibilities are off the table. Anything can happen. There can be agents and double agents and triple agents till no one knows who's cheating whom. Vraj Lila is like this. No one knows who's telling the truth anymore, or who's on which side. Of course we know which side the Manjus are on. They're always on Radhika's side. But just be careful of Kundalata, because she's Krishna's cousin. She might be in Radhika's group, but she's Krishna's cousin. Sometimes, she's... Be careful with Kundalata. Oh, and Benishta also. And Nandimukhi, don't forget also. Madhumangal's sister, she can be tricky. Sometimes she's flip sides. So just be careful, okay? You've been warned. But anyway, the others you can trust. So then, if the Vaid, dividing the other side, doesn't work, then you have to go to the last method, Danda. The threat of actual war. Then, you enter into the negotiation with good faith. But when it's found out that the other person isn't negotiating in good faith, that they've been dishonorable, then what happens? The Cold War becomes hot war. And then Danda begins, actual punishment. So, in this way, Radhika and her Sakis and Krishna and the cowherd boys, they actually relish praying Vilasa through playing, like children playing, as if they are kings and queens in the forest of Vrindavan. Very beautiful. And this contention, everything, this is only the nature of love we discussed yesterday. When love is there, then you don't praise, you tease. So they're teasing each other in these beautiful games. So then Radhika's side was the first to make a move, and that Ardha Vriddha, I'll call her Ardha Vriddha. You know what I'm talking about? Ardha Vriddha means middle-aged woman. Yeah. Related to the priest of Nanda Maharaj. So she came out of the group of Radhika and approached the group of Sri Krishna. And she was respectful, she bowed her head slightly, and she gave, because she's from Brahmin family, so she gave blessings to others. And then arriving there, she said, I am Buddhimati Pandita, very intelligent Pandita, female Pandit, is a Pandita. And because of my great intelligence, I have attained the position of a messenger of Srimati Radhika. And therefore, I have come here to deliver her message to you. So all of you, now please hear my words with rapt attention. When she said that, Madhu Mangal said, what did she say? What did she say? Hearing something? What was she talking about? And all the cowboys started laughing. She was very sedate, very stately. She was calm. She said, oh, Krishna. Krishna, it seems like your associates are deaf. So I will speak to you. Madhu Mangal said, oh, yes, it seems that you are the Vasha. Vasha, that means the representative of Radharani, means under control of Radharani. This is quite appropriate for you. But Vasha also means elephant. So though he was saying, oh, yes, it's appropriate that you're under the control of Radhika, he was really saying, this middle-aged woman, you are like an elephant. But then see Krishna, he was very grave. Oh, Madhu Mangal. And he said, oh respected one, freely speak and tell us, what is the message from your queen? Because he wants to hear what Radhika has to say. So then, that messenger, she said, our queen Radhika has decreed, and then she held her ears, oh, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. In Vedic culture, when you make a mistake, right, you have to hold your ears, right? So then she realized, oh, I made a mistake. No, Radhika has not decreed, excuse me. Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. The ministers of Radhika, such as her Prime Minister, Lalita Sakhi, they have decreed, because it's below the Empress to do this, the ministers are ready. They have decreed that by your accepting the royal umbrella and the white chamar, you have given an insult to our Empress. It is an insult. And therefore, we suggest that you should give up this royal insignia at once. So then Krishna, the coward boys are laughing. They don't want to give up the insignia. So then Krishna, he said, it is true. On the order of your Empress, we will give up our insignia. We'll do it. But according to the Vedas, a king cannot give up his insignia without a fight first, without a battle. So that's it, no more negotiations, bas, whoa! Now, the thing is that kings, they often overreact, because they're passionate. And that's why they have to be surrounded by Brahmin ministers who can keep them cool, calm them down, and negotiate a more amicable solution to the problem. So Krishna is such a person. In this case, he has a ruthlessly cunning genius, statesman and advisor, Madhu Mangal. Madhu Mangal came to Krishna. He said, Your Majesty, look, just listen to my words, don't be hasty. Listen to my words and then make up your mind. You see, the thing is this, look at those women. What caste are they? And they're carrying weapons. Right? Which caste can carry weapons? Kshatriyas. So if someone from another caste carried, you remember Lord Ramachandra once, he came across one rishi and he had weapons. And he was going to punish him. Because you can't do what is outside of your caste duties. Right? So Madhu Mangal said, look, what caste are they? And they're carrying so many weapons. So they are dishonest. So when you're dealing with a dishonest person, then Krishna, you are very straightforward. But when you're dealing with a dishonest person, you have to be very tricky also. So don't be straightforward with them. I suggest this, that you just keep this female messenger here and let me go over there to the other side. And I'll speak to them and find out what is their intention and their mood, and then I'll come back and let you know what we should do is the next move. Don't be impetuous. Because Krishna, I am a great pandit. I'm such an expert in all of these things. So then that Ardha Vriddha, the middle-aged lady, she said, oh, Madhu Mangal, if you were a pandit, then who could be a fool? If you were a pandit, then in this whole world it would be very hard to find a fool. So then, that duty, that Ardhabrita lady, she said to Krishna, your minister is just like you. And now, on the pretext of carrying a message, he wants to go to the other side. Now she's giving two insults in one. He's just like you means that in your heart you feel fear, right? And he's so afraid that even at the outset of the battle, before it began, he's trying to tell you, look, you just keep her here. I'm just going to go and I'll negotiate. But he's trying to change sides. Huh? So what is she doing?
Dividing.
Vaid, right? Vaid, right? All the politics comes up in Radha Krishna Lila. So she's doing Vaid. So then, Krishna said, Madhumangal said, look, don't listen to these women. They have bamyata, but they are abala. They have no strength. What's the use of being contrary? Yeah? But if you don't have any strength to enforce your will. Just like Radha can say to Krishna, no. But Krishna is very strong. So, Madhumanga said, these girls, they are abala. That means no strength. So even though they're contrary, they cannot enforce their will. So what's the use of that? So then that Ardhavrita, the messenger of Radharani, said, no, don't say that the gopis are abala, without strength. They are sabala. Why? Because, I'll let you understand. By knowing one example, you can understand all the things which are similar to that. So by giving the example of Radhika, you will understand the power of all of these gopis. You see, Radhika is a Shastramay Sharir. Her whole body is made of weapons. Shastramay Sharir. The Sharir, the body, is Shastramay. Entire body of Radhika is made of weapons. She said, really? She said, yes. First of all, her curling hair is a Pash Astra, a noose. You know, sometimes they throw a rope net over you and catch you. Her hair is like a net that will catch you. Her eyebrows are like a bow, and her glances are like arrows. Her earrings are like chakras. We were talking yesterday about the big round earrings. Her earrings are like chakras. And her teeth are like so many sharp vajras, thunderbolt weapons. Her nose is like a sharp knife. And in this way, how can you say that Radhika is abal, weak, when her whole body is a shastramay sharir? So many weapons. There's a calm yuddha, loving battle. So when Krishna's hearing this, as he's hearing the description of each part of the beautiful body of Radhika, Krishna starts to tremble. So then, Krishna composes himself, because he's almost fainting, only thinking of the beauty of Radharani. So then, Krishna, he thought, oh, I'll follow the advice of Madhumangal. So he told that Ardhabrita, look, you stay here. My envoy, Madhumangal, is going to go and find out what are the intentions of this Shastramaya Sharir. So then, Madhumangal, he set off from Krishna's side through the no man's land. And then he arrived at the party of Shrimati Radhika. The gopis partied like this, and there was Radhika, the empress, on the throne with her umbrella and being fanned by the Sakhis. Madhumangal came there. The gopis said, what are you doing here? Madhumangal said, I have come here to see you dance. So what? I've come here to see you dance. So then Madhumangal said, your servant arrived in our camp and said, O Sarvabhauma, O great emperor, our queen wants to meet with you. Sarvabhauma, Madhumanga was saying that when that messenger arrived there, she called Krishna the emperor and said, our queen is eager to meet with you. The gopis can't believe their ears. Did she really say that? Did she do it of her own accord? Or did Radhika, who's very proud and acting all Bhamyata contrary, tell her to say that? Or is Madhumanga lying? Or this, or that, or this, or that. This is called Tarka Vitarka. So then Madhumanga said, she came and said, O Sarvabhauma, great emperor, our queen wants to meet with you. And then our Sarvabhauma, our Krishna, said, I cannot meet with that queen because I have no faith in Milan meeting with her, because I have heard a rumor that she has a relation, some attachment to another man. Gopis can't believe their ears. What is Madhumanga saying? And therefore, it would be better if you want to make an alliance with our country, you should offer one very beautiful girl from your group to be married to one of the princes from our kingdom, and they'll be married. So when there's a prince and princess, someone from one side and another, they marry, then those countries are considered to be in an alliance. So Madhumanga said this. Now all the gopis were restless. And they realized what Madhumanga meant when he said, I came here to see you dance. Because his words have lit a fire. All the gopis are thinking, did the messenger really say this? Or is he making it up? Did Krishna really say this insult to Radharani or not? How will we respond to it? It's a trap. It's a trap because if we'll deny it, no. Our empress has no love for anyone else. Now she's been forced to be submissive. Right? And declare that I only have love for Krishna. And if she says that it's true, then it's a big insult. So Madhumanga is like sharp as a pin. Huh? And now you understand the meaning. What are you doing here? I have come to see you dance. So by his clever words, now all the gopis are all disturbed. What do we do now? What do we do now? So then Vishaka said, look, he's speaking independently. I don't think any of this happened. Krishna never said these things. So just don't take his words seriously. He has some other intention, some other motivation. Madhumanga said, I am a Brahmin. In my presence, even those who are against each other, they become reconciled by my peaceful atmosphere that emanates from me. It's one of the siddhis of yoga, you know. It's one of the siddhis of yoga that when you have self-control, when you come in the presence of people arguing, they all become peaceful. Right? He said, I am a person of peace. I bring reconciliation to everyone. My senses are self-controlled. I don't know the meaning of ulterior motives. I am living only for the benefit of others because I am a Brahmin. So then, Vishaka said, oh good Brahmin, your benefit should be investigated. And then Vishaka turned to Lalita and the Sakis, and they all began to confer with each other, to have a discussion. What will we do now? So then, Madhumanga said, look, it looks like a war may come, but I have proposed a path to peace. Just accept the path to peace. You offer one girl from your side, we'll offer one boy, let them be married, and the two sides will be reconciled. This is all I want, peace. So then Radhika said to Madhumanga, because it's very important, before a war takes place, you have to have intelligence, information about the strength of the other side. So Krishna has already heard about Radhika's Shastramaya Shariya. Now Radhika said, how powerful is your king? Madhumanga, tell me, how powerful is your king? Madhumanga said, oh Sumukhi, beautiful faced girl, just the sound, the vibration of his glories and his virtues, which are beyond this material world, makes everyone forget their duties. Huh? You know? It's too late, I'm sorry. You know, remember when you were younger and you used to want to do this and that and this and that, and then one day you met a devotee, you heard some Hari guitar and it all went out the window. Forget about everything. Just go to Vrindavan. So Madhu Mangal said, he's so powerful. Just hearing his glories and everyone, they forget all their duties. He attracts all moving and non-moving living entities by the sweet sound of his flute. His beauty is unparalleled and causes everyone's heart to be overwhelmed with intense longing. His pastimes cause everyone to be stunned with ecstasy, and he brings everyone under control by the sweetness of his words. Now you tell me, how powerful is Krishna? My king, my emperor, is so powerful. And very proudly Madhu Mangal was glorifying Krishna in front of the gopis. He said, what's more, in front of my Krishna, the biggest, the strongest, the heaviest, the proudest, the fastest, the most intelligent, they all become humble and give up their pride in his presence. And what's more, wherever he goes, everything becomes pervaded with viparita kanti. Viparita kanti means everything changes its nature and becomes the opposite. Tejo varim mridamyata vinimayo. Wherever he goes, his influence is such that everything becomes the opposite of it was as it was before. So how powerful he is. When Lalita heard this, she said, "Oh Radhika, oh my dear Empress, just look, what Madhu Mangal is saying about Krishna is true. Because a piece of bamboo is deaf and dumb. But as soon as it comes in the association of Krishna, it becomes so talkative. Singing so many beautiful songs. And this Brahmin, Madhu Mangal, was born in a great pure Brahmin dynasty of great intelligent sages who always speak with perfect logic and reason. And now he is associating with Krishna. Understand? It means that Lalita used Madhu Mangal's own words, that the power of Krishna makes everything come reverse. That Madhu Mangal was born in a very pure Brahmin family who always speak the truth with logic and reason. That means that by associating with Krishna, he's become a foolish person who always tells lies and has no logic, reason or anything. Gopis don't say anything directly. Understand? Everything is in the Dhwani. In the Dhwani. So in this way, Lalita very coolly and expertly insulted Madhu Mangal with his own words. So then, Lalita Sakhi whispered in the ears of Radharani. Radharani was, and she was agreeing with everything. Then, Lalita openly spoke out in the assembly. She said, all right, we agree to your proposal. We don't have among us gopis a kanya, an unmarried virgin girl that we can offer, but we do have a padmini. A padmini means very high class of exquisitely beautiful woman. And this Padmini is like a shining deep of Simala Dweep. A shining dweep of Simala Dweep means Sri Lanka. So she's from Sri Lanka, this girl, and she's so beautiful, she's like a shining deep of Simala Dweep. So I think it's very good. We will offer this shining deep of Simala Dweep, and she should actually be married to Krishna himself. And then we'll be at peace and avert the war. And I think that you should not reject her, thinking that she's from a low-caste family, being from Simala Dweep. But you should accept her, because in the Manusmriti it is said, Vishadapi amritam grayam, amedyam apikalpanam kanchanam, nichadapyutamam vidyam striratnam duskoladapi. Which means, the Manusmriti, the law books of mankind, that one should accept nectar even if it's among poison. One should accept gold even if you see there's some stool on the ground, but you see a big lump of gold in it. But you should accept gold even from a dirty place. Nichadapi uttamam vidyam. You should accept uttam vidya, transcendental knowledge, even if it's from a person from a low caste and in the whole universe. But our Radhika is superior of similar deed to be married to your Bhupati, Sri Krishna. So then Radhika laughed and she moved the eyebrows. Madhumanga was thinking, who is this shining deep of similar dweep? Who could it be? Who could it be? I wonder who it could be. Just then Radhika moved the eyebrows and there were 50 boys. They're Kishore, young boys, and they're sons of Nanda Maharaj's priest. By her eyebrows she moved, and those 50 boys immediately surrounded Madhumangal, ripped off all of his clothing and dressed him in woman's clothing. He discovered that he was going to be the shining deep of symmetry. So now Madhumangal, he's very nicely dressed in beautiful red and gold sari with earrings and nose ring and everything. Very ankle bells and bangles. And they're getting him ready for the wedding. Radharani sent one Brahmin boy, go and tell Krishna of our proposal. So then this Brahmin boy came over from Radharani's side and entered to the camp of Krishna. Krishna's very respectable old Brahmin. Please tell us what is the news. That Brahmin said, in order to negotiate a peace, then our empress has suggested that you, Krishna, should marry one of our associates, the shining deep of Simriti. And this will make peace amongst us. Krishna was thinking, it must be a trick. Huh? It must be some kind of trap. We cannot trust these people. But then Krishna, he covered his mood and he told that Brahmin boy, look, I cannot marry this beautiful Padmini girl, but we have a very beautiful young prince and he will marry that girl. So prepare for a very beautiful wedding and everyone will be united. So then that Brahmin, he went back to Radharani's camp and informed. So then Radharani's army is there. Radharani's in the front, all her Sakhis are surrounding and they're coming. They have all their pitchcarries and their flower bombs and everything ready. And in the front, in the beautiful sari and ornaments, is the shining deep of Sindhudweep. And from this side, Radharani's army is advancing with the bride, beautiful bride. In the meantime, Krishna told some ladies who were supporting his side in his group, said, you know that old lady, Adabrida, who came? Dress her up as a bridegroom. So now, Radhika's side think they're going to trick Krishna, and Krishna's side think they're going to trick Radhika. Radhika's side have dressed Madhu Mangalapa as the bridegroom, as the bride. Krishna's side dressed the old lady from Radharani's side in a men's clothes with a big turban and a moustache and everything. And they put the bridegroom in the front of their group, and behind there's Krishna, Madhu Mangals, and Sridham and all the cowboys, and they have their pitchcarries and their sticks, you know, Latimar Holi. In Holi you also have to have sticks, because you do a dance and you click the sticks and throw them and catch them and fight with them. So they have all their weapons. And now the two armies are advancing on each other into the middle of the Krida Bhumi, the playground. And the bride and the groom are approaching each other. A beautiful couple. So when they came together, then they all began to sing wedding songs. And some older ladies who were neutral, not on this side or the other, they came and they tied their cloth, you know, the bride and bridegroom's cloth have to be tied together in a knot. And so the marriage ceremony was going on. So just then, as the marriage ceremony was going on, then the beautiful doe-eyed gopis in Radharani's groups, they noticed that the bridegroom was very old. Huh? This is an insult. And this bridegroom is very rude. He has insulted our Padmini. So, prepare for war. Because if there's an insult one family to another, then war will go on. So then the Vraja Gopi said, prepare for war. Aja viraja me hori re rasiya. Aja viraja me hori. Just wait a sec, just stop time for a moment. Yeah, take the banana. Just on pause, okay, take it off the pause. Aja viraja me hori re rasiya. Aja viraja me hori re rasiya. Playing mridangas and various drums, blowing on bugles. There was a tremendous sound of music and singing the songs of Holi. Each side began insulting and criticizing each other, making so many jokes, and they were showing their prowess. The gopis were dancing with sticks and clacking their sticks together and throwing them and catching them. And when the cowboys said, we can do that too. And so then the cowboys started dancing and hitting their sticks and throwing and catching them also. But then the pitchcarries came out, and the gopis got their pitchcarries and fired a volley of colored water. So now the colored water was coming from the gopis onto the coward boys, and from the coward boys onto the gopis. Everything was becoming red. The ground was becoming red. The trees were becoming red. Even the bumblebees were red. Everything was becoming red. So there was a chaotic battle going on. So at that time, Krishna himself, being a great hero, he rushed into the midst of the army of the gopis. And the gopis, they were trying to fight with him, but he was pulling their hair, he was pulling their dresses, he was hitting their sticks, and the gopis were falling here and there, and Krishna was moving so fast, no one could understand how did he enter into the phalanx of gopis. In fact, Krishna was moving so fast, even Krishna could not understand how he was doing this. Gradually, he was fighting his way. And sometimes it happens, when there's a big battle, but on the battlefield there are two kings. And everyone's fighting, but gradually they fight through the various soldiers until the two kings become face to face. And when the two kings become face to face, then what happens? All the soldiers stop fighting. And they stand, because it's just down to that. If the king goes down, then one side has won. Right? So no need to fight anymore. So, at that time, Krishna, he burst through all the gopis one after another, and slowly he worked his way through. And Radharani was coming from the other direction. And when the two of them met together, then all the gopis surrounded them on all sides, and they just stopped there. They became like figures in a painting. They became like golden statues with Adbhut Ras. The ras of astonishment, seeing the beauty of Radha and Krishna come face to face in the holy Yuddha. And then Radha and Krishna with their sticks, they began their duel. And as the gopis standing around like golden statues were watching, they felt so many barbs, and the barbs were coming out of their mouth in the form of a Sankirtan. Very beautiful song. Pasya pasya saki, holy Yuddha. Pasya pasya saki, holy Yuddha. Pasya means look. Pasya pasya saki, holy Yuddha. Saki? Saki means if you have a Saki and some feeling comes in your heart, it comes out of your mouth, you cannot stop it. That's what the meaning of Saki. Two ladies or friends, whatever they're feeling, it comes out. This is the meaning of Saki. So what they're feeling in their heart, they're saying to each other, Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham, just see, Radha and Madhav are manifesting an unprecedented battle, and as they face each other in the midst of all the gopis, this battle is raging and fulfilling all of our desires. All of their spiritual desires are being fulfilled by this. Danda Dandi Gati Parikandita Taratatamo Vyatirodham. The first part of the battle is called Danda Dandi. Now Krishna and Radhika are fighting with sticks, jumping, sweeping over the top from this side and that side. And as each one does one move, each one knows the counter move. And then does another move, and the other one does a counter move, and then does another move, and the other one counters with great skill. And it's getting faster and faster and faster. And they look like, Radhika is like a flash of lightning and Krishna is like a fresh rain cloud. And all gopis are looking with wonder. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Sometimes they're moving so fast that Radharani's cloth slips over her eyes and she can't see. Or sometimes Krishna's turban slips down over his eyes and he cannot see because they're moving so fast. So at that time when one of their eyes becomes covered and they can't see, then the other one takes that as an opportunity to give them a quick kiss. Steal a kiss quickly, and then Krishna puts his turban, Radharani puts her veil, and they keep fighting like this. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Krishna's arms are like snakes. And just as a snake has a hood that spreads out like this, his hands are like the hoods of snakes. And those snakes, you know the nature of snakes? They sneak up on the chakravak birds and go boom and catch them. Okay. You know the chakravak bird? It's a golden bird and very round. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Even though in this Rangabhumi there are no trees. There are no trees. But I can see a tamal tree, which is being embraced by a Swarnalata, a golden kripa. That means as the battle progressed, they became overwhelmed with bhav and embraced each other. When Radhika embraced Krishna, then Krishna became stunned, he could not move. And he was defeated. And all the Sakis of Radhika chanted, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Swarmed into the middle of the battlefield and surrounded Krishna and bound him and led him away and took him to Radharani's camp. Now the king has been captured, he's a captive. And he's been taken hostage by the other side. So Krishna is being taken away by the Sakis now to the other side. In the Prem Patanam, the haven of love, everything becomes reverse. That means that defeat is victory. So for Krishna to be defeated, actually it was the greatest victory of his life. As all the Radhika and all the Sakis lead him away as their hostage. So when they got him there, they sat him down and they did his abhishek. They took a big golden pot full of water with a kasturi, dark kasturi mixed in it, and Holy Day Rasya! And they bathed Krishna completely. Radharani very cunningly stole Krishna's flute also. So he's completely defeated. Pasya Pasya Saki, holy Yudham. Krishna's flute. Why? Because when he plays the flute, he has so many gopis' names programmed in it. He can call. So now she's taking his cell phone, he can't call anyone. So then, gopis are saying, and then Balaram got together, what happened to my brother? He's been defeated. And he was talking with Krishna's friends. So they sent one messenger boy to go and negotiate. How can we get Krishna back? So one boy came from Balaram's side and came over to Radhika's group, and they had a discussion, and they decided what the bail would be to get Krishna out of the jail. They fixed the bail, the ransom money for the kidnapped king. And so then the boy came back, and then the cowherd boys came. Gopis asked for so many jewels and necklaces and garlands and everything, and they came and they offered them to the gopis, and gopis accepted them and said, now you can have your prisoner back. And they gave Krishna back. So then Krishna went back to his boys, and he was so much in bliss, he began to sing a beautiful song. And that song was so charming. All gopis, they were floating in the ocean of bliss. All the demigods in the sky were floating in the ocean of bliss and showering flowers on Radha and Krishna. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite Jayo Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite Gokula has the chakra, the umbrella and the chawar. Who is Vrindavan Chakravartini? Who is the Sarvabhauma, the Empress of Vrindavan? Only Shrimati Radhika. So in this way, Radhika was coronated as the Queen of Vrindavan, and now that pastime will manifest before our eyes as all the dasis of Radharani very proudly perform the Raja Abhishek of Radharani now. Now you enter. There's Lila Pravesh.